Good morning. Um, Good morning, Dave and Deb. Yes, happy Halloween, end of October. Gotta say that went pretty fast. How are we already into almost November? I don't know. Hasn't this year gone fast in spite of how strange it's been? I feel like it has. Um, but that's how it is, right? It just one day at a time, everything passes by. Um, which is why, right? It's good to keep going, right? Because if we're not, even if we're not participating, time is marching on. So we might as well do what we can, right? That's what they say about doing things, right? That um, we often think, right? Is there any point in doing this? Maybe we're interested in something, but we get discouraged when we think how long it might take to figure it out or learn how to do it, or um, maybe there's some training we need to take or something to be qualified to do whatever it is we want to do. Um, but the quote I've always heard in yoga about that is, the best time to have started yoga is 20 years ago. But the next best time, that's the first best time. The second best time is today, right now. Um, because that time is passing no matter what. Um, you can either use that time productively and get somewhere, or you can just give up. And then time is still going to pass, right? You're still going to get older, but you maybe will miss out on um, what you could have learned in that time. Um, this is maybe a good time to think about that, right? To the end of the fall, sort of beginning of the colder time. Um, the consideration, and we talk about this in yoga a fair amount. This idea that um, we only we're here to learn and to grow, but no one knows how long we're here. Everyone has a different sort of assigned purpose and time. Um, I was reading an article about where they were saying that Buddhism and yoga and some other philosophies were very sort of fatalistic, and that the idea is that everything is already ordained for you, and you have no choice. You're just sort of going through the motions, and I hardly disagree with that. I think that whoever wrote that misinterpreted what uh, yoga philosophy and even Buddhist philosophy says. So um, it isn't that we don't have any choice and that everything is preordained for us, but it's rather that we have an appropriate role to play. Um, we have a fair amount of choice within our own limited sphere, but there are a lot of things we never will get to choose. We certainly didn't get to choose where we were born. Well, that's another question. Did we? Okay, that's a question for another day. Then we're getting heavy into that. But on the surface, no. I mean, we just here we are. Um, you know, we we can do something about you know our life, but As a child, let's say, there's very little we could do to affect our circumstances. Maybe we grew up wealthy, maybe we grew up poor, maybe we got a good education, maybe we didn't get a good education, maybe our parents were very kind, maybe they were neglectful. These are the things that we can't really control. But at some point, we can, right? At some point, it becomes our choice how we're going to continue our life. Um, are we going to continue to play out those old patterns that we learned and that maybe feel very comfortable? Uh, we kind of revert back to them maybe in times of crisis or stress. Or are we going to move on? Are we going to overcome whatever it was that maybe held us back when we were a child? Um, that's where our choice comes in. Um, and I think what yoga and Buddhism and a couple other philosophies talk about that is confusing to us in kind of a Western mind is um, this idea that we aren't center stage, right? We may be center stage in our own life, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Um, Certainly, our own survival and our health and well being should be of concern to us. But we're only, one of billions, right? The world and the structure of the universe has a pattern. Um, there is a structure. And I sometimes when I think about it, I think about like a clockwork, how gears turn other gears, but not at the same rate. So you've got some of these big gears that move very slowly, and other gears that are spinning quickly. They all move together, but it's in a pattern that is very hard to see. And um, we so maybe we're spinning. That's us, right? And all we can see is our spinning, but that spinning is doing other things. It's moving other things along. So I feel like this is a very sort of comforting way to think of things, because what you may see as your failure may be someone else's success, right? So even though you may not get what you want, maybe there's a reason this other person got that instead. Maybe that's their Dharma. So in yoga terms, in Buddhist terms, we talk about Dharma, right? Dharma is the larger good, um, the common good, we might say. And we are all, our actions serve the Dharma, the larger good, ideally, right? They may not always. Sometimes when we're acting selfishly, when we're acting very within a lot of self-interest, certainly we aren't really, we aren't moving things along. We aren't helping. Um, we're off, instead of shouldering our share of the burden, we're off, eating a candy bar in the corner. Well, I mean, it happens, right? And I tell you, if not, if people didn't do that, I feel like we'd be a lot farther along as a society, as a human um, culture. But that's human nature, right? We are off doing our own things a lot of the time. Um, but let's not lose sight of that. So that Dharma, that might be the part that appears to be fatalistic. It appears to be um, to deny human uh, will, right? And yeah, it kind of does, right? There is a greater good that we're trying to work towards, and that may be counter some of your own selfish desires. Um, but, it's not all about you. It's not all about me. It's not all about any one person. Um, so we try to keep this in mind. Um, when we have successes, they're our successes, but they're also the Dharma. We're moving through the Dharma. When we have a failure, that means someone else is succeeding, right? Someone else is moving things along. Maybe it's their turn, it's their time for success. This may all be in service to a much larger goal that uh, we don't normally think about. We're very focused, right? We're not seeing the forest, just our particular tree. So it can help, especially if you're having a struggle in life, if you're having a time when things don't feel like they are working out the way you want them to. In yoga, we say things are working out the way they're meant to be, right? Um, it doesn't mean it's always going to be in your favor. Um, and it's interesting too when you think about if you have a time in your life when you're being thwarted again and again and again, you might want to look at what you're trying to do. What is it that you're trying to do? Is perhaps what you're trying to do not in line with the Dharma, right? Are you pursuing something in maybe in kind of a selfish way, maybe in um, a way that is running counter to really the better nature and well-being of others? I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, you see that. Sometimes, no. Really, you're trying your best. But again, we don't know everything. We can't see the whole picture. Um, but we have faith. And that's where, right, the faith comes in, where we know, you know, what's going on, but we don't have to see it all, right? We're going up the staircase, but we can't see the top yet. We know the top is there, um, because we can see the steps, and all we need to do is continue to take those steps. Um, so don't don't stop. Just keep going. Um, don't worry that you think you might not have enough time to get to the top. Nobody knows if they'll have enough time to get to the top. Um, it doesn't matter, right? Even if you only get halfway, you are halfway higher than you were at the beginning. Um, I think that is a tricky thing, that we all have to face in our life. Is that um, we may not see the ultimate fruits of our actions. Right? Um, I love this saying that and I'm going to mess it up. I always do. I always mess up these things, but it's something along the lines of a mature society is one where men plant trees their great grandchildren will sit under. So we don't even want to. It's not reasonable to expect many of our actions will benefit us directly. Um, but yet we do them. We must do them because we're trying to move everything forward. We want our great grandchildren to have trees to sit under. Um, we want things to be better in 50 years than they are today. Even if we won't be here. My husband and I were talking about, they had a climate report about 2050 and what the world might be like then. It was kind of scary. Um, and I was thinking, well, that's a bummer, but I'm not going to be here. And then I thought, well, I could be here. That's only 30 years from now. I could still be here. So yeah, you know, uh, time passes, um, and we're still going to be here. We might, and if not us, our children, our grandchildren, great grandchildren, right? Um, it's our responsibility to do what we can to make things better, and to not um, get discouraged, right? I'd love it. We'd all love it if things were better than they are today. Um, if people were kinder, if there was more uh, equality, and um, there weren't people living so close to poverty, so close to um, really disaster, while others hoard, right? Aparigraha, right? Others take so much, hold so much, um, when others have nothing. But again, we're trying to take the long view. Today, things aren't great. Are they better than they were? Maybe in some ways, yeah, better than they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. And in 50 years, I hope, right, we're going to move forward and things are going to be better. I have faith that they will. But we may not live to see all of those things. But that, again, that's our act of faith, is that we don't have to be there. It doesn't have to be just for us, it is for the world and for the love of everyone in it. Because if we are all one, we're all one now, we're all one forever. Even when we pass away and there are other human beings here on earth, we're all still here together. Whether you believe in reincarnation or heaven or whatever it is, that spirit, that universal self is there, and you're always there. So you may not be able to sit under that tree, but in spirit you will. All right. So let's do a little yoga. I am feeling pretty stiff today. So we're not going to do very much. I'm warning you. This has been a rough week. I don't know. Some weeks just not really feeling it. And I don't know if it's a change of weather or what it is. Just, some weeks are feeling more like movement and some weeks not so much. All right. So we're sitting up. Relax the shoulders. Breathe. And then just let the head hang down. Moving around. Big circle. One way and the other. Back to center. Lean forward. Move around the body. One way and the other. Back up to your seat, arms wide. Deep breath. Exhale, hands together. Inhale, arms wide. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands. We're gazing up. Hands down by your side. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. Lower. Once more, lifting up. And then right hand by your side, reach across with the left. Switch. Back up. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And then forward. Right hand on left knee. Left arm behind you, sit up tall. Twist. Back to center, switch. And back to center. Let's bring soles of the feet together. Sit up tall and lean forward. Moving back up. Tabletop. Sitting back on the heels. Coming back up, tabletop. Moving through a few sets of cat-cow. Inhale and exhale. And sitting back on the heels again. Maybe bring the knees a little wider. Back up. Let's extend the right leg. Press that heel away from the body. And then switch. We're going to swing the right leg around, coming up on that left knee. Arms up overhead. And then hands to center. Take a deep breath. Twisting to the right. You might hook the elbow here, or you could stay upright. Drawing that right shoulder back. And then back to center. Right hand down to the inside of the foot here. Lifting up the left. And then both hands down. Moving into lizard here. Stretching and leaning forward. Back foot you can have flat on the mat, or you could be up on your toe. See how it feels. And then we're going to walk the foot across warrior pigeon. So you could stay in lizard if you don't want to do pigeon. You could do supine pigeon on your back. Your choice. You could just come to child's pose if this all seems like way more than you want to deal with today. Make your way back up. And then we're going to kind of roll onto that right side. Swing the left leg around. And then just kind of bringing it toward the front again. Just making sure everything gets back where it's supposed to be. And then bend the leg. We're going to bring this left leg underneath the right. So, we're kind of stacked like this. You might be further out. You might have the foot out in front. Just see how everything feels today. Things might be a little stiff. Inhale, lifting the hands, fold forward. Come on back up. And let's cross one ankle over the other. We're going to rock forward, coming back to tabletop, or, however you want to get into tabletop. Sitting back on the heels again. Back up. Swing the left leg around. So we're up on the right. Arms overhead. And then hands to center. Breath in. Take a twist. Moving back to center. Let's bring the left hand down. Right arm lifts. Both hands down. Kind of walking into this. And the more forward you go, the more intense this is going to feel. Walk that left foot across for pigeon or whatever version of pigeon you want to do. Take a deep breath and then maybe folding forward. Coming back up and then kind of rolling on the left a little. We'll swing this right leg around. Pointing it back out in front. And then it goes under Got that left leg on top. Inhale, fold forward. And walk the hands back up. Both legs out in front. Inhale, exhale, fold. Coming back up. Bend the knees again, soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall. And then leading with the chest, hinging from the hips. Folding forward, keeping that nice flat back. Moving back up. Let's lift the knees. We can catch a hold of the toes or the tops of the feet. Lean back a little so that the heels lift. Find your steadiness. And then maybe some extension. Bend the knees again. Both legs out in front. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Back up. Bend your knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Lowering down. Find a place that feels comfortable here. Take a few breaths. Let's hug that right knee into the chest. Left leg extends. And then maybe extend the leg. You could grab a hold of the ankle or maybe the toe Breathe. If you want to extend out to the side, you can. And then back up. Extend the right leg. And let's hug the left in. Extend the leg. And then if you want to extend out to the side, you can. And then release it all down. Take a few breaths. Bend the knees. Soles of the feet to the mat. Ready for supported bridge. You can have your block here at any height you want. If you don't have a block or don't want to use a block, just do regular bridge. That's fine too. We're lifting up. Heels back close to the body. Find the right height for you today. Breathe. Rising back up. Remove your block. Resting back on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Arms maybe up over your head, if you like how that feels. And then let's bring the knees together, hug them into the chest, rock side to side. And then arms out to a T or goalpost arms. We're going to start lowering both knees over to the right. Back to center, and then moving to the left. Back to center, hands by your side. Extend the legs. And then when you're ready, lowering down. And getting comfortable. Let your body just sink down into the mat. Keep breathing, steady, relaxed. moving a bit, fingers and toes, hands and feet. And then making your way up to a seat. We'll bring hands together, breath in and breath out. Thank you for taking time today to come to the mat for some yoga. And I hope you have a great Saturday. Namaste. Thank you. Meditation, sitting up, comfortable. Eyes are closed, relaxed breath. Just finding that focus with eyes shut, letting go of thoughts as they arise. So coming back to awareness, everyday awareness. And we're done. So some yoga, some meditation, and the end of October. I hope you have a great day and an enjoyable Halloween, whatever you end up doing. Remember, there are pumpkin display out Coxneck Road on your way out of town. If you and they'll be for a few days. So if you don't get there tonight, you can go another day. Okay, so I'm off tomorrow and be back Monday. See you then.